Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sallallahu ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Salatu wa salamu alayki ya Sayyidi ya Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Ji.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Why do we face towards the Qibla when consuming Zamzam water?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Imam Ibn Majah has recorded a narration from Sayyiduna Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala an, in which Sayyiduna Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala an mentioned the etiquette of drinking the water of Zamzam, and in there he mentioned face the Qibla. He asked an individual who had come from the well of Zamzam that did you face the Qibla in that, and that you should. So based on this hadith, the Fuqaha Kiram have said that it is mustahab to face the Qibla whilst drinking the water of Zamzam. It is not necessary, it is mustahab. The Wahhabis, the Jahil Wahhabis, they say that the hadith is weak, and because the hadith is weak, therefore we must not act upon it. However, the Muhaddithin have said that even if a hadith is weak, if it does not go against any fard or wajib or sunnah proven from the kitab and sunnah, and there is fadila in it, so it can be labeled as mustahab. So there is no harm in acting upon that. It is mustahab if someone faces the Qibla whilst drinking the water of Zamzam with the intention that it's a Sahabi of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam who mentioned it, and the Sahaba Kiram are those who follow the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Therefore, it will be rewarding. So then there is reward, there is no harm in that. And if someone sits and drinks it or does not face the Kaaba, then there's no harm as well. Wallahu a'lam bis-sawab. And it is also possible that because Sayyida Hajira radiyallahu anha, when she went on to when she drank the Zamzam, or when she fed the Zamzam water to Sayyidina Ismail, it's possible that she was at that time facing the Qibla. And maybe in order to imitate completely what she did, maybe that's the reason why. Wallahu alam bis-sawab. Allah knows best.
Is vaping haram?
Vaping depends on what an individual is vaping. If there is any chemical that is impure or impermissible in the liquid that is then transformed into vape, then it would be haram. And if there is nothing that's impure or impermissible, then there's no harm in transforming that liquid into vape and inhaling that. Wallahu alam bis-sawab.
If a Muslim woman has just been diagnosed with cancer and her hair is falling out slowly day by day, is she allowed to shave her head to prevent further distress brought on from the cancer?
To prevent
further distress?
Distress?
As in upset or...
Yeah, I understand what the word distress means, but as in the hairs falling out, what's causing the distress?
As in her seeing her hair fall out, it causes stress.
So completely removing it removes the stress.
Possibly.
Okay. The rule for women removing their hair on the head is that it is not permissible unless there is a valid excuse such as an illness. If there is an illness because of which they have to remove the hair, or removal of the hair will prevent the illness, they know that with certainty, overwhelming certainty, or a practicing medical doctor, practicing Muslim medical doctor has advised, then in that case it will be permissible. Or if they need to operate on that area, then it's permissible. So if the stress, if it is known to her with overwhelming certainty that if she removes the hair completely, then it will reduce her stress. And if the stress is reduced, then we know with certainty, overwhelming certainty, that it will help her fight the cancer, because her stress is at the moment causing more harm or not allowing her to fight the cancer. Then in these situations, it can be permitted to remove the hair. Wallahu alam bis-sawab.
If someone makes a mannat and it is granted, but then does not do what he said in his mannat, e.g., Ya Allah, if I find my lost item, I will never smoke again, then later he starts smoking again. What is the ruling on this?
If I
find my lost item, I will never smoke again. But then later he starts smoking.
And he said Wallah before that.
He says, Ya Allah. It doesn't mention.
Ya Allah, if I
find my lost item, I will never smoke again.
And then the individual finds the lost item and then smokes again.
Yeah.
In Surah Maida, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لَا يُؤَاخِذُكُمُ اللَّهُ بِاللَّغْوِ فِي أَيْمَانِكُمْ. फिर क्या है? وَلَكِنْ يُؤَاخِذُكُمْ بِمَا أَقَّدْتُمُ الْأَيْمَانَ है ना? Bima aqadtumul aymana. So in this verse, Allah subhanahu, it's verse 89 in Surah Maida, I think. Maybe, wallahu alam, somewhere around there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has there separated ayman, yani oaths. Yameen is the singular, into two categories. One is lagh, yameen lagh, and one is yameen, it's either muaqqat or fawri. So khair, the yameen lagh is when you take an oath by the name of Allah or anyone other than Allah, then it's lagh. And if it's by the name of Allah, but if it is something to do with the past, for example, someone says, I swear by Allah, I did not do so and so. So that is something to do with the past. That is lagh. It is futile. It's lagh. So la yu'akhidukum Allahu bil laghwi fi aymanikum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is 89 and verse 89. Allah does not, He will not hold you accountable for your yameen, which is lagh, if it is to do with the past. However, if you were lying about it, you will be sinful. If you took an oath by the name of anyone other than Allah, then you will be sinful. And what it means here, that you won't be held accountable, means that you will not have any kafara. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَكِنْ يُؤَاخِذُكُمْ بِمَا أَقَّدْتُمُ الْأَيْمَانِ. As for those oaths that you have taken of the future, that I will do this if so and so happens. For example, that's one example. Or if someone simply said that I swear by Allah, I will do this, and the person doesn't do it. If it is muaqqat, yani if there is a certain time for him to do it, then he doesn't do it and that time passes, then kafara will be necessary. Like that, if someone said something like, I will feed so and so individual food until that person is alive, that yameen will still remain. And if the person passes away and he had not fed food to that individual, then the qasam will be broken, kafara will be necessary. Like that, in this situation where an individual said to Allah that, oh Allah, if I find so and so, then I will stop smoking. The person finds that thing, yet continues to smoke, then the verse, وَلَكِنْ يُؤَاخِذُكُمْ بِمَا أَقَّدْتُمُ الْأَيْمَانِ, then Allah will hold you accountable for them. Okay? And then it says in there, فَكَفَّارَتُهُ, its kafara, its kafara is إِطْعَامُ عَشَرَةِ masakin. You have to feed 10 poor people. 10 poor people have to be fed for the day, which is 2 meals. And it says in the verse, مِنْ أَوْسَطِ مَا تُطْعِمُونَ أَهْلِيكُمْ. Yeah, which means that the food that you feed the 10 poor people must be from that, moderate from that which you feed your family. So if someone feeds their family food that's purchased from a certain place of a certain price and certain quality, then, and sometimes more expensive, sometimes less expensive, then the moderate amount must be fed. And if someone is like Hafiz Sahib here and works in Harrods, and that's where they eat from, then they have to feed that type of quality food to the poor people, 10 people, 2 times a day. And if they can't do that, or instead of that, they can clothe them. They can give them clothing. And again, that is the same moderation from what you spend upon your family. Or tahriru raqaba, or that you free a slave. And if you can't do these, so it says, فَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدْ فَالصِّيَامُ ثَلَاثَةِ أَيَّامٍ. Then you shall fast 3 fasts. For 3 days you will fast. That is the kafara of breaking your oath. And in this situation as well, the person, if he did smoke after finding that product, because when we consider the custom in this matter, and when someone makes an oath like that, it doesn't mean that, yes, I am going to stop smoking. I will stop smoking. I found the item, so I will stop. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next year. The custom is that as soon as you found it, from that point, you will stop smoking. That's what the statement means. And because the person has smoked after finding that product or that item, the person will have to give the kafara, which will be to feed the poor. Wallahu a'lam bis-sawab.
Is that just once, or is that every time they do it?
Every time they take oath, they will have to.
So they've taken an oath, and then they've started smoking again.
Yeah, so the oath is now broken.
Yeah.
So at that point, kafara has become necessary. Yani they didn't fulfill it. Yeah, just once. If they, for example, said Wallah, Billah, or Wallah, Wal Rahman, or Wal Jabbar, so he has taken oath with 3 different names of Allah. Then in that case, if he breaks that oath, then that will be 3 separate kafaras. Okay? Wallahu alam bis-sawab.
Is there any wazifa or dua to protect hair fall? What's the Sharia rule for hairs for boys, and how should one comb his hair by following the sunnah?
I don't know a wazifa for protecting your hair from falling. Medically, people in the UK tend to wash their hair with hot water, and hot water does cause hair fall. And other than that, using all these chemicals in the hair also harms the roots of the hair. As for the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then it is the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to oil the hair. And oiling the hair, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam would first oil the right side of his hair, then the left side of his hair, and then the middle part of his hair. And he sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam, at one time, he used to do side parting before, and then later he sallallahu alaihi wasallam began to do middle parting for his blessed hair. And his sunnah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was that he would either let the hair grow completely until it reached his shoulder length, and then he would completely remove all of it. He would shave it all off. That was the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yani he would leave it, or he would completely remove it. And tarajjul, which means to comb the hair, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam prohibited. Yani it is disliked, it's makruh for men to comb their hair every day. For women, it is mustahab, it's good for them to do. But for men, they shouldn't comb their hair every day, because combing the hair is zina, and men should not engage in zina every day. And Sayyiduna Ali al-Murtada karramallahu ta'ala wajhul kareem, he narrated a hadith which Imam Sahib Mishkat, he has recorded it in his in Mishkatul Masabi, that Sayyiduna Ali al-Murtada radiyallahu ta'ala said that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Ke man ghasala or man ightasala, he who performed ghusl from janaba, wa taraka mawdi'a sha'ratin, and he abandoned the place of one hair on the body upon which water did not flow over. Tika? فُعِلَ بِهَا كَذَا وَكَذَا فِي النَّارِ. Then so and so will be done to that part of the body in the fire of hell. So Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala said that when I heard that hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, ثُمَّ عَادَيْتُ رَأْسِي, then I became an enemy of the hair on my head. And he said that 3 times. I became an enemy of the hair on my head. So he would shave it off all the time. That was the practice of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala, to ensure that ghusl is valid. Because ghusl will be invalid if even one hair or the place on the skin that one hair takes, even if that is left without water flowing over it, then the ghusl of janaba will not be valid. Wallahu a'lam bis-sawab.
Dear Mufti Sahib, can you kindly advise what is the ruling for the following question? Is it permissible to eat meat that is provided by the hotels when performing Umrah or Hajj?
I can't really give a definite answer for that because I don't know which hotels provide what, but I do know that unfortunately in Haramain Sharifain, a lot of the meat does come from places like New Zealand and America and other, Brazil, maybe non-Muslim countries, and generally there is no satisfaction attained in the heart to accept that this is halal. And the Wahhabi government, they don't care much about halal and haram. And that's why the ulama that I have always sat with or met with and the pious Muslims, they don't eat there. Okay, when we go there as well, we eat only when our Sunni brothers there bring food for us and they've slaughtered the animal themselves. So there are people who do go there, and they do take groups, and they book hotels, maybe sometimes the whole floor, and they have teams who go and slaughter the meat and cook the meat in the hotel kitchens, and they bring it. So I can't give a definite answer, but the simple answer is that in meat the essence is hurma, yani it's always haram unless proven halal, and therefore it's safe. It is safest to just abstain from meat when you go to these type of places. Like when you go to Baghdad Sharif, it is dominated by Shias, and most of the meat there is slaughtered by Shias, and that's not going to be halal, that's haram. So unless you know that these are Sunnis and they've slaughtered this and they slaughter this themselves and they eat it, then it's fine. Otherwise, you must stay away. Wallahu a'lam bis-sawab.
If someone is earning haram money and he is sending gifts such as food or clothes, can we eat that food or use these clothes or gifts?
If you know that the gifts that you have received from the individual or from haram income, then you must give them back to the individual. If you do not know whether they are from haram income or not, but you do know that this individual only has haram income, they don't have any halal income, then in that case you must give the gifts back to them. As for if you don't know and the person has a mixed income, halal and haram income, then in that case it is permissible for you to keep the gift. However, if you know that by you not accepting the gift, he will learn and he will stop from the haram income, then it is better for you to return it. And if you don't know that, and if you don't accept it and the individual it will move more further away into haram, then in that case it's better for you to keep it. Wallahu a'lam bis-sawab.
Is it possible for humans to land on the moon or beyond the earth, and is there any possibility of life there? What does Sharia say in the field of space travel?
It is possible that man move out of the earth. In the Quran there is a verse which mentions that, what is it? I can't remember the verse of the Quran, but in the Quran there is a verse in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that if they wish to leave the earth, then do so, but wherever you go, you will still be in the Sultan of Allah. Yani you will remain within the sultana of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tanfuduna, it's something. Do you not remember the verse? La tanfuduna illa bisultanin. है ना हाफिज साहब? So yes, it is possible that man may go out of the earth and go into the atmosphere beyond, and maybe even travel all the way to the moon, although man has never done that yet. But yes, it is possible. However, to find life and to live, have you found it? What is it? La tanfuduna illa bisultan. What's before that? Yeah, Ya ma'ashar al-jinni wal-insi in istata'tum an tanfudu min aqtari samawat wal-ard. O jinn and man, if you are able to leave the aqtar of the skies and the earth, yani the atmospheres, then you will not leave but within the sultan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you will remain within the sultana of Allah, not sultan of Allah, the sultana of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is possible that man leaves, or jinn, and they arrive on the moon, but life will not be preserved there. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Baqarah said, وَلَكُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ مُسْتَقَرُّ وَمَتَاعٌ إِلَىٰ حِينٍ. That for you is in the earth a mustaqar, a place of stay. وَمَتَاعٌ إِلَىٰ حِينٍ, and provision until a certain period of time. So man will remain on the earth. That is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent us. And all the billions of pounds that are being spent to find life or find a suitable planet outside the earth, it's all a waste of money. Wallahu a'lam bis-sawab.
If one misses the Jummah Salah and it is no longer the time of Jummah, then how many rakat will he pray in the Qaza Salah?
If an individual has missed the Jumu'ah Salah and the time of Jummah, yani the time of Zohar, has ended, then in that case the person will perform the Qada of his Zohar Salah. The time of Jummah Salah is the time of Zohar Salah on a Friday. So if the time of Asr has begun, then in that case the person cannot pray the Zohar Salah anymore. If someone's missed the Jummah Salah, they can perform the Zohar Salah in its stead. And if Jummah was fard upon that individual and the person missed it without a valid reason, then the person will be sinful. And they will then perform the Zohar Salah, the full complete 4 Sunnah, 4 Fard, 2 Sunnah, 2 Nafl. However, if the time of Zohar has also ended and the time of Asr has entered, then in that case the person in the time of Asr, as long as the makruh time has not appeared, the makruh time before sunset, then the person will do qada of 4 fard of Zohar. Wallahu a'lam bis-sawab.
Can Sunnis take zakat or any kind of help from a Tablighi Jamaat or Wahhabi because we are told not to stand behind them in Salah? Is taking their money acceptable?
Those people that have become murtad, they were Muslim and then, or they recited the kalima la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, and then they commit kufr. So these people are murtad. And regarding those people that are murtad, the hukum in the books of fiqh is that they are as they are not. Yani they don't exist. For you, they do not exist. Which means that their wealth and everything does not exist. So we do not take their wealth as donations for charity. It would be given to the Baytul Mal. And nowadays, if someone does come upon the money from a murtad, then he should give that to the poor people. And we don't take the money from them in charities. And another issue nowadays is that people take money for the masjid from the Wahhabis and the Diyabana, and then the Wahhabis and the Diyabana influence the decisions that are taken place in the masjid. We've seen this ourselves in our lives, that when a Wahhabi or a Devbandi passes away, they expect you to do, the Imam of the Sunni masjid, to do dua for this Wahhabi or Devbandi. And the masjid committee, they compel the Imam to do it because they take funding from the Wahhabis and Devbandis. This is completely impermissible May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from the influence of the Wahhabis and the Diyabana. Wallahu alam bisawab.
Any questions from the audience?
Just going back to, the way you mentioned about the vapes. Similarly, you get CBD oil, so people use that for pain relief. Obviously, if it's got the THC side of the thing, you can't take it because. But if it's without the THC, is it permissible to take CBD oil?
I'm not sure. I do not know what that liquid is and how it's made and how it's formed, so I can't comment on that at the moment. And if you don't know, then it's best to abstain from it. Stay away from it.
Many fast food places like McDonald's and Burger King etc. serve other items like fish and chips, but it is very common that most fast food places fry all the items in the same oil as their meat products. Can we still consume the fish or chips if it's fried in the same oil as their other meat products?
There is clear certainty that there is cross-contamination of impure and haram meat with that which is halal, and that will cause the halal to become haram as well. So if although it is permissible to eat from the Jews and Christians, non-Muslims, however, if you know that there is cross-contamination of such that they are frying the same all of the food in the same oil as pork or any other meat, alayadu billah, that will be haram. It is haram for us to eat. Wallahu alam bisawab.
What is the significance of shooting stars in Islam?
Allahu alam bisawab. What the significance of shooting stars is. In Surah Rahman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does mention that the Mufassirin have commented on this, saying that when the Malaika go to the heavens to take their ahkam, their instructions from the Lawh Mahfuz, and when they are given the ahkam, the instructions that are written on the Lawh Mahfuz, so the shayateen, they come and they try and listen discreetly to what is yet to happen in the future. And due to this act of the shayateen, they are struck with something, and that may be the shooting star that they are being struck with. And what the shayateen then do is they come and whisper to their associates from amongst mankind that this is going to happen, this is going to happen, that is going to happen. And they add 100 lies in there, or 99 lies in that. So 99% of what they say is lies, and 1% of what they say may be true. Allah knows best. And that's how these fortune tellers, they are aided by this, not all of them, but some of them, they are aided by the shayateen who have listened to some of the instructions that the malaika are given. And through that they tell people that this is going to happen to you in the future. Or so and so. Wallahu alam bisawab. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina wa Mawlana Muhammadin ma'adin al-judi wal karam wa manba'i al-ilmi wal hilmi wal hikam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi barik wa sallim. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم ربنا زدنا علما إنك أنت العليم الخبير وزدنا رزقا إنك أنت خير الرازقين وارحمنا إنك أنت أرحم الراحمين واستر عيوبنا إنك أنت ستار العيوب واغفر ذنوبنا إنك أنت غافر الذنوب واحفظنا إنك أنت خير الحافظين وانصرنا إنك أنت خير الناصرين. آمين بجاه النبي صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم وبرحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.